robbery, burglary, theft, and larceny. All of these are takings, but they are distinguished by the means, the methods, and the victims of these takings. We will start with theft and larceny. These two words are synonymous and are referred to the simple taking of anything of value with an intent to permanently deprive the owner, that is, an intent to keep whatever you have stolen. Common examples of theft and larceny are, for instance, shoplifting, taking something from a store. And there are several degrees of theft and larceny. Unlike in other crimes, when we talk about first degree, second degree, third degree to explain the seriousness of the crime, usually when we talk about theft and larceny, we talk about grand larceny or petty theft. And the difference between a grand and a petty crime when it comes to theft and larceny is usually about $500 depending on the jurisdiction. So, for instance, if you steal a few paperback books from a bookstore, you will probably be charged with petty larceny. However, if you steal a car from an open public parking lot, you'll probably be charged with grand larceny, otherwise known as grand theft auto. Now, if we add another element to the taking crime, if we add the element of an unlawful entry, then you get a burglary. And unlawful entry is sometimes called breaking and entering or housebreaking, but it is also an element of a burglary. And when you burgle, as you would do in British English, or burglarize premises, it means you have entered that premises to take something or to otherwise commit another crime. Robbery, deemed to be the most serious, is a forcible stealing from a person. This time we are adding a person. In the previous examples, we stole a car from an open parking lot, no people there. We stole books from a store. There might have been people around, but we didn't do the taking from a person. Now we are actually adding real or threatened physical force. So, for instance, a mugging. When you hold somebody up on the street, in public, that's an example of a robbery. A purse snatching, when you steal somebody's purse from their body, that's a robbery. A carjacking, when you steal a car with somebody in it, that's another example of a robbery. Thank you. Solicitor and attorney. Attorney is a common term in American legal English for lawyer. Solicitor is not quite the same. Solicitor is particular to England and a lot of Commonwealth countries, and it's a particular type of lawyer. And in the UK, we contrast the term solicitor with another branch of legal profession, the barrister. Now, one of these, the solicitor or the barrister, has rights of audience at court. That means that they can go and represent clients at court and carry out the advocacy work. One of them does the preparation of the work that leads up to the actual advocacy work in court. It's a solicitor that does the initial litigation, the initial work, or the preparatory work. And generally speaking, if it's, say, a breach of contract case or a non-criminal matter, the case usually begins and ends with solicitor, because most cases end in an out-of-court settlement. If the parties can't settle, then the solicitor will get a barrister's advice. The barrister is often seen as the expert in particular areas of law, and then the barrister will take the brief, the file, the documents from the solicitor that cover all the facts of the case and will then represent the client in court. The solicitor will, generally speaking, go to the court as well. In the higher courts, he doesn't have rights of audience. He can't represent the client. What he can do is instruct the barrister. So the barrister may need to ask questions of the solicitor during the court case, and the solicitor will be there to support the barrister. In the law courts, the courts of first instance, the solicitor can also represent the client and carry out advocacy work, but generally speaking, that work is undertaken by the barrister.